What is going on YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast. And today we have episode 126. And my friends, we have some Guardians news to discuss as we were talking about last week. Cleveland Guardians opened up their season on the road in Seattle and then followed that up with a series win against the Dodgers, which was pretty freaking sick, considering that they came out on top at least the last two games. Really played well on the road trip overall. We're sitting at 4-3 with a day off today. This is Thursday that we are recording this. Tomorrow is the home opener against the Chicago Cubs. And yeah, man, the Guardians don't look too bad. It's still very, very early, but there's some really good signs that we're going to get into. So yeah, man, how are we feeling about the Guardians right now as we sit in the early first week of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. We came in here with the mindset of, you have 4 against Seattle, 3 against the Dodgers, and, coming away with maybe 3 wins is like best case scenario. Like, if you could come away with 3 wins and come home with that, like, hey, you're off to a good start. And you know what? The Guardians shocked us. They went out, they took the series against the Dodgers, which I don't think anyone expected. And you went 2-2 with the Mariners. So all in all, I mean, a very successful road trip to start the season for the Guardians as they come home tomorrow, Friday afternoon, for a 3-game series against the Cubs, and I believe a 3-game series against Kansas City. So, still some tough games coming up, but at home, and I think the home crowd's going to be into it, and it's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be a fun few days. So very much looking forward to tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, so far off to a good start.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was pretty good. You really can't complain, especially with how some of the guys played, which obviously, again, we will discuss. But before we do that, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to the sponsor just to let you guys know what is going on over there, because the guys at Effortless Wins, they are putting in work right now. This is their time. This is when he is the most active, is during baseball season. So go ahead and give it to him, Eric.
Yeah, so guys, check out our sponsor, Effortless Wins, for sports betting advice and plays to boost your wins. Talk to Tony or Greg. Links will be in the description on Spotify or in the comment section on YouTube. Yeah, as Zach said, baseball is Greg's major specialty. I've already won some good money already by being in the Discord chat. So again, guys, now's the chance. And Greg gave me a little discount code to give you guys. Use discount just BSN26 for a nice discount. So when you go into that Discord, talk to Greg and just say just BSN26. He will get you a nice little discount. We're trying to get more people into the Discord and trying to get more people to also listen to the podcast as well. So it's a working progress for both parties. And, it's just a way to get both of us, some views and get Greg some guys in the Discord. So that way it's a win-win for everybody. So guys, use just BSN26 in the Discord, and Greg is going to hook you up some awesome discounts, and that way you guys can start winning some money.
Yes, sir. And look, again, as I was saying, this is the time that they're most active. This is the time that they are really pushing out daily content. Like, they are pushing out daily bets every single day. So if you guys are trying to look to get into betting, or if you guys are trying to improve on your betting, you do it sort of casually like us, but you really want to, step your game up and really try to see if you can make some money at it. This is a way to do it. Like, this is a way to kind of get a guide to help you sort of map out the way that you want to bet and bet correctly, to where you're not having to lose out on a ton of money and doing a bunch of crazy 7-leg, parlays and doing crazy stuff like we like to do sometimes, because it's in our nature, it's in our blood. We're all a little greedy at times, especially when it comes to sports betting, because you're like, oh yeah, this one can hit. Oh, this one should hit. And betting is all about luck, but it's also about understanding what bets are pretty much a guarantee to hit and which ones are damn near impossible. And sometimes you just got to play the odds. So be smart when you're betting, but this is a way to really step your game up. So shout out to the guys at Effortless Wins. Thank you again for being a part of the channel. We really do appreciate it. So as I was saying, there are some guys on this Guardians team that are playing phenomenal. And one of them we talked a little bit about last week that we were very, very excited to see. And boy, did this kid show up. 4 home runs in a span of 3 games to start the season. Chris DeLauder is proving why he was one of our top guys out of the farm. This dude can hit the ball. And we were seeing this all throughout spring training. Like, we knew kind of what he was coming into the season playing like, and the way that he was swinging the bat. It looked pretty dang good against legitimately pro players. And by the way, a Seattle team that is very, very solid. Like, Seattle is going to be one of the teams that are going to probably compete for a World Series this year. That's not an exaggeration. They are one of the better teams in the league. And although we lost that series, the guys came out and played pretty decently well. And guys like Chris DeLauder were at the very, very top. And he wasn't just a rookie of the week. He was in the running for player of the week this past week with how good he was playing. Now, he did foul a ball off on his ankle. Didn't look too bad, thankfully. X-rays were negative, but he got the day off yesterday, and then now he's obviously got today off because they're off. So he should play either Friday or Saturday. We'll just see kind of how it goes. But the kid's got it, and there was no doubt about it because he hit a home run his very first at bat, and then he ended up ending that same game with another home run as well later in the game. Talk about making a great first impression. What was your take about just the way that you saw Chris DeLauder just kind of take over the game and really take over a series and just be as consistent as he has so far in the early stages of the season?
Yeah, Chase DeLauder's been excellent to start the season. I mean, this kid has, done exactly
I keep saying Chris, by the way. I don't know why I keep saying Chris. It's Chase DeLauder. God bless it.
You're all good, man. But yeah, CDL, he's, it's exactly what you said. First at bat home run. Like, this kid has shown what you've always known what he has in the minor leagues, and that's just untapped power. Like, he has a very unorthodox kind of swing. It's very short. It's very kind of close to his body. But when you deep dive into his swing, the mechanics are there. He keeps his hands behind the bat or keeps his hands behind the ball and whatnot. And he's able to drive it and get a lot of pop into that bat. And, even his second home run or even his final home run that he hit in Seattle was well outside the batter's box. And he still managed to get a good swing on it and put it opposite field for a home run. And this kid has just shown that no matter what, whether it's contact or power, I mean, even in the first game against the Dodgers, or second game against the Dodgers, I believe. It's the first game against the Dodgers. He hit a line drive and it was almost went over Mookie Betts' head for what probably would have been a double because it was in the gap. But you know what? It had a lot of power behind it. You can see this guy has a lot of good contact. And that's just like the second time he got robbed of a hit.
Yeah.
And, this kid is just absolutely amazing at the plate. He's very patient. He makes you pitch to him. He draws walks. Now, don't get me wrong. As a power hitter, there's times where he does swing at a little bit of junk, which, don't get me wrong, a lot of the power bats do that. Your Judges, your Stantons, your all those guys, your Otanis. Yeah. We saw all series long Otani swung at a lot of everything.
Yeah, he chased a lot.
But for Chase DeLauder, though, and for as young as he is a very, very patient hitter. He will make you throw it down the middle. He will make you pay the price if you do. So we love that from him. And, the Guardian staff had said, there's a reason why they drafted Chase a couple years ago. It's the same thing. The same reason why they drafted that Jace Laviolette kid last year, 2 seasons ago, is because, again, it's another guy that's 6'4", kind of jacked a little bit, has a lot of power.
Yep.
You know, they want those guys who are big and powerful, and they're starting to get those power bats now. And this is a kid we were missing last season, because imagine this kid in a 2-hole last season if he were to came up before his injury, he would have been amazing.
Oh yeah,
Like
without a doubt.
Like we would have been unstoppable. But especially with Calman Zardo, who was hitting the ball really well last year too. But he's struggling just a little bit. But again, for some of these guys, Jose finally hit his first home run last night.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys who you think should be doing well, sure, they're struggling, but you know what? It's okay to have slow starts.
Yeah.
Because again, obviously Jose is going to bounce back. It's Jose Ramirez.
100%.
Steven Kwan has already bounced back from his kind of rough year last year, and he's been hitting the ball extremely well this year.
Yeah.
Chase DeLauder has been hitting the ball extremely well to start the year before he fouled it off his ankle. Angel Martinez has been hitting the ball pretty well. Schneemann has been really good to start the year. I'm hoping to see a lot more Schneemann starting at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Reese Hoskins has been playing pretty well as well at first base. And, again, at the batter's box, Hoskins has been getting you some hits and some walks, so he's been doing well. Like, the team has got it. And the biggest surprise is Austin Hedges. His 2-hit game against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Like, we take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's even like, Arias has been doing just so poorly to start the year, and then he goes into that game against the Dodgers and he hits a home run, and it's just like there's certain guys that you don't really expect to do a whole lot, and when they don't, you're like, oh, this guy isn't gonna stay up here long, and then you get a game like that and you're like, he's going to be down here or up here just a little bit longer. Because he obviously was able to play himself at least into another series. But, guys that I'm a little concerned with right now are definitely Bo. A little concerned with Manzardo. Manzardo, he's been getting a lot of strikeouts lately. And I know it's early, so there is, obviously time for him to clean that up and get it fixed. But it's still, there's still some grounds for being a little nervous with the way things are going with him, because we need a guy like Manzardo to be able to have a good year and be able to hit potentially 20 or 30 plus home runs this year. Like, that's just a requirement that you're going to need out of a guy that is probably going to be a majority of a DH for you. And if you can't do that, Chase DeLauder, I almost did it again. Chase DeLauder is going to overtake that spot, especially when Valera gets back. You're going to have to kind of decide how you want to make your outfield work. And Schneemann is a guy who can play anywhere. You could play him at center. You could play him at second. You could play him at short. You could play him at third. You could pretty much play him wherever he needs to play. A little bit of the same with Fry. I mean, to be honest, I want to see a little more of David Fry as well. And I think we're going to. But, again, having a guy like Chase DeLauder be able to make the impact that he has early on in this season, it's very impressive, and it's also very rewarding, because these first few years, you're really excited and hyped up about this kid, and yet you can't see him play because he's hurt, and you're like, man, are we ever going to see this guy play? Well, the answer is yes, and now that he's here, he is worth all of the hype. He is certainly worth all of the stuff that this team has had to go through in order just to get him to this point. And I just hope that he doesn't have to necessarily worry about injuries that much anymore, especially after fouling off a pitch right on the ankle that he's had, I think, not one but two different surgeries on. So you just really hope that doesn't become a theme throughout the rest of his career. But it's a great start, and it's a great place for him to be at. And dude, he's got to be a guy that you really have to be excited about. But even more so, I think another guy that I'm extremely excited about is Messick. I think he had a phenomenal game the other night. And with the starting, five the way that it is, like I said this in the podcast last week, this young rotation has the potential to either be deadly or kind of a shit show. And all of that depends strictly on the guys playing well. And that first series against Seattle, everybody looked a little rough. Gavin walked a bunch, and we were like, here we go. Like, this is another year where we're going to have to deal with Gavin really struggling to, keep his command and be able to, stay in counts early. But then he comes out and has a phenomenal game last night with a chance of just going, what was it, 7 innings, 10K strong. I mean, he was just magnificent. He was the guy that, in my opinion, is the Guardians' actual ace. And I know for some people that may be a little far-fetched because, obviously there's a lot of people out there that do like Bybee, but I'm telling you what, he's the ace on this team. He's the one I think that has the highest ceiling in terms of Cy Young Award, winner potentially in this current lineup. And I don't think that's very far-fetched in my opinion. But besides those guys, who are some other guys that you've been impressed with or at least pleased with in terms of their just the way that they've been able to play over this last week or so?
Yeah, I'll go back to a guy that I've mentioned already, and that's Rhys Hoskins. I mean, just kind of like I'm going to go to the statistics of the Guardians when it comes to batting. And when it comes to hitting, Rhys Hoskins leads the team with 4 walks already to start the year, which is crazy. And then, funny enough, the next 2 are Brian Rocchio and Stephen Kwan tied with 3. Wow. So that shows you, again, Brian Rocchio is taking that step forward where
he is.
He's starting to become a little bit more patient at the plate, and he's starting to draw a little bit more walks, and it's not swinging that much in the dirt anymore. Yep. So that's what you want to see out of guys like Rocchio and whatnot. Still a long way to go for him, but when it comes to Rhys Hoskins, I mean, 14 at bats, 1 run, 4 hits, 2 doubles, 1 RBI, 6 total bases, 4 walks, struck out 6 times, but he's batting 286 with an 873 OPS. Mm-hmm. So I mean, he's hitting the ball really well, but he's also getting a lot of walks. So I think we're going to start seeing him now. Him and Manzardo are going to be playing pretty much every day, whether they swap first base and DH. They're going to be playing every single day. Yeah. But I know you in our group chat, me and Sean talked about Rhys Hoskins to you in that group chat, talking about how much we're excited for him.
Yeah.
Because when he was with Milwaukee, he's a guy who also has pop in his bat. And you're going to see that coming up soon. You're going to see a guy who has a lot of pop in the bat when he gets more settled into the team, because he just came back from almost a full season injury last year.
Right.
But when he's fully healthy, this is a guy who's hit 30 home runs twice in his career, and he's had 28 and 29 home runs in the other following seasons. Right. So this is a guy who's consistently could be a 30 home run hitter. And also too, this guy can draw walks. This guy gets on base. He helps out in big ways. So, we like this addition, and we think it's going to help Manzardo kind of compete a little bit. And, Manzardo, yeah, he's struggling. But Manzardo's young. This is his 3rd season. So I'm not going to sit there and go guns blazing on him. Like, right. Oh my God, he's so bad. Like, he
did the same thing last year. He really did. It's just he was getting on base a little bit more, but it's still early on. So
it's very much early on, and you're gonna start seeing him hit the ball, especially now that that the team's coming home. You're gonna see a lot of these guys hit the ball a little bit better now that they're coming home. 100%. They're playing in front of a home crowd, so they're gonna be playing a little bit better. They're going to be hitting the ball a little bit better.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, Reese Hoskins for me has just been a great addition to the roster.
Yeah.
Definitely helps you out on the defensively at first base, but also helps you on, you know, just hitting the ball, period. So he's a guy I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for during the season. Obviously, another guy too, just one last guy, even though he's played 3 games and had 7 at bats, is David Fry.
Yeah.
I mean, already 2 hits, a double, 3 total bases. Again, batting 286 with a almost 750 OPS. Like, even though in the limited amount of games that David Fry has played in, he's made the most of them.
Yeah.
And this is the David Fry we knew before the injury, before he got smoked in the eye by Tarek Skubal, and before, you know, the shoulder separation injury.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who could come in and hit the baseball. And don't get me wrong, he's also kind of a decently effective first baseman and catcher.
Mm-hmm.
But also, too, if you need him, he could play right field. He could play left field. He could play in the outfield, too. So, again, another utility guy like Schneemann and I forget. I'm drawing blank. Martinez. I don't know why I was drawing a blank for a second. I can picture him, but I see him in my vision. But yeah, Martinez and Schneemann, you know, guys who could play all over the place, and you know, those 3 guys are going to be the most important pieces this season, because if those guys can get going and hit the ball and play defense effectively, these are guys who are going to help you make runs.
Yeah.
And these are guys who you brought them because they're really good. They're really good hitters, and you can play them wherever. I mean, look at Schneemann. Schneemann's already stepped in and played second base, and we moved Rocchio to shortstop, and Schneemann's made the most of it. Then he would go out to the center field and play very well in center field. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, we see more of that. And also, too, George Valera is rehabbing in Columbus. I think he's going to play a game tomorrow, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So Valera is getting close to coming back, which is nice. And then, like you said earlier in the podcast, hopefully Chase DeLauder gets back with this weekend, which he's day to day. So they said he's looking to play tomorrow. So we might see CDL tomorrow again.
Yeah. And I mean, that's obviously some really good news. And yeah, I mean, it's a good start, and it's a good opportunity for this Guardians team, because, you know, when everybody saw the schedule, you know, early on, they saw a team that was like, man, you got to take on 2 of some of the top teams that you're going to see in the year. Yeah. And this is going to be a difficult challenge. And they made haste with it. Like they really didn't do that bad of a job at all. And I just think it's, and we've been saying this for a while between me, you, and Sean, like, just the amount of just wild takes on the Guardians is just unbelievable to me, because they've won the AL Central the last 2 years. They've always been in the mix for the AL Central title. It's really hard to not count them at least in the top 2 or top 3 of the ALC. And I don't know, man. I don't know what else the Guardians have to keep doing, but they're going to keep doing it. This is a well-coached team. This is a well-oiled machine at this point. And for as little as a lot of these guys in media know about this Guardians team, us fans are like, no, like, this is one of the better lineups that we've had in the last few years, because a lot of these young guys, we know what they can do. We know what they're capable of. And you're just really hoping that a guy like, Bo Naylor can have a much better, start, because if he doesn't, you're going to see a lot more Fry, and you're going to see a lot more Austin, because listen, a lot of these guys love Hedges, like, especially the pitchers. A lot of these guys love a dude that just knows how to organize a pitch count every game. And he's also just an outstanding leader in the locker room. Everybody loves him as a player. And listen, if he's going to hit a lot better this year than he did last year, that makes him a lot more viable than the 148 or whatever the hell he hit last year. He's not really going to come in for power, but if Austin's getting on base and Austin is getting a hit or 2 a night, that's that's really good, especially if you're only getting like 2, maybe 3 games out of him a week, probably 1 or 2 games a week out of him. So you really need a guy like Bo Naylor to step up and play better. Because if not, you're going to see more David Fry. You're going to see more Hedges. And you're going to talk about potentially trading Bo Naylor. And that's just not a thing that I know a lot of people want to do. But at the same time, you have Engel, who is down in the minors. And who knows when they decide to bring him up as well. That's why this Guardians team is sitting a lot prettier than most people give them credit for, because they have so much talent below them in AAA. You have Juan Brito playing fantastic in AAA. Bazana, he's getting there. He's struggling a little bit right now, but he did start off the year hot, and then he's cooled down a little bit. But
speaking of Bazana, he just walked it off for Columbus just now. There you go.
See, all you have to do is just say, like, hey, he's going to step a little bit, and then he does something sick. Like, that's what Bazana does. So don't look at his batting average of being like, I think it's like, what was it, like 160, something or whatever it was you said earlier. It's low right now, but he's probably also trying to just hit the crap out of the ball, and he's getting a chance to.
After I mentioned that before we started, I said he had 2 strikeouts, and he now had 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, an RBI, and his batting average went from like a 150 to a 208 with a 720 OPS. So he's back essentially.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
and shout out to Petey Halpin too, who hit a 3-run tying home run to set up the walk-off win for Travis Bazana. So
hell yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, but there's guys down to AAA that's raking right now, and
that's what I'm saying. Like even if guys like Arias are going to struggle, as us fans are saying, go for it, struggle. We dare you. Like please. Like honestly, we want to see more of these young guys.
Give me Brito, give me Bazana.
Yeah, and when Valera comes back, you're probably going to see like Kafis go back down, because if they want to really play him at left field, he needs a lot more reps at left field.
He needs a head game.
I always thought that was a wild thing for them to try, and I appreciate their efforts, but it's putting too much on his plate for a guy that really hasn't played that part of the outfield much. I mean, he's basically been a first baseman and then a right fielder. So it's a tough spot for him to be in, but I know he's still hitting the ball pretty decent. So it's not like he's not playing well. It's just his errors in the field are not going to help, keep him on, on track. So I would say he's probably going to be the one that goes down, unless barring any injuries or anything like that. But it's just another opportunity for more guys to continue to try to make a name for themselves. And again, that's a very, very sweet spot to be in as a Guardians fan, and just as the Guardians in general, because you have a lot of ways that you can go with this, and it just keeps you flexible, and it keeps you honest, and it keeps you in a really good spot. And that's why this whole time, like, I've just been pretty hyped about the Guardians, because I'm like, people don't realize how good this team actually really is. They just don't know the names. Like they haven't been familiar with the game that is the Guardians. And their farm is just, I mean, we've always been saying it's one of the best in the league. It always really has been. So, hey, we're in a pretty good spot, man. You can't really complain right now.
No, and also we come into the home opener tomorrow, first place in the division, because Kansas City lost to the Twins today. So Guardians will be in first place in the division going into tomorrow, which we didn't even think would happen to start the season.
No, because your first 2 opponents were 2 of the top teams that are going to be fighting for a World Series again this year.
Yeah.
So
and it's fun watching Detroit struggle.
It's always fun. It's always fun to watch Detroit struggle. And you knew that they were going to be in a different spot than they were last year, because they've, when teams are this good for that long, especially in this division, it's really tough to like continue it, because guys leave, you lose, certain guys in your lineups. And all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, we don't have depth. Like one of the things that we don't have that well is we don't have a lot of closing depth in terms of who is going to close out the game. Because right now, Cade Smith isn't playing the best, but he can easily turn that around and be fine. But again, it's just a unique spot to be in. And I don't know, the Guardians have always just been a good team that's been able to like overcome a lot of things going wrong and still somehow come out on top and win 90 games in the season. So I have all the faith. Like I really do. And that's why like I don't really get stressed, especially early on in the season. Like I will never get stressed about losses.
No.
Because as we saw last season, you can be down 15 games. What was it in like July, and just come all the way back and win the division. So the Guardians have proven what they're truly capable of, and as long as they get hot at the right time, they're always going to be a team to beat. But I do want to get into some Cavs talk real fast before we head out. Because they take on Golden State tonight when they're on their third game of this little mini road trip that they took on the West Coast. They started in Utah, and then they went to LA, where they unfortunately got their butts kicked. But they also didn't really show up for that game. And I kind of wanted to speak my mind on this because I'm on the fence of saying I think the Cavs are just ready for the season to be done and start the playoffs. Like I think they're checked out of the regular season. Because they're still doing roster management. They're still trying to give guys, a break. And Jared Allen came back, but he's still fighting through this knee thing that he's dealing with. That's apparently is it's going to require some sort of surgery in the offseason, which sucks. But you just wonder how the pain is going to go, if it's going to be up and down, and, how much you're going to be able to get out of him in the playoffs. But if he's able to play even like 20, 25 minutes, I think Mobley can handle the rest. It's everybody else that shows up, and it's being able to make sure that Mobley is a focal point. And then when Jared Allen is in, you obviously include him in the offense as much as you can and try to minimize his usage on the defensive end of just staying in the middle, not really having to move around and just use his length and not worry about him having to defend on the perimeter at all. That should be the way that you do that. And plus the Cavs need to really tighten up on their defense. Again, I think that's why they're kind of checked on the season because all of these issues that they keep having on the defense they're so easy to correct. They just haven't had the ability to like sit down and practice and go over this and do all this. And I really think that's why they're just like, F it. Like the season will end. We will get this fixed and we will tighten it up. I don't know if you feel the same way, if you are worried at all, because we saw how they played against the Lakers, and they looked really just kind of like stuck in mud the whole game. I don't know, man. I just think they're kind of checked. They're ready. They're ready for the playoffs to start, as I think a lot of fans are.
Yeah, and that's all that is. I think they're just ready for the playoffs to begin. They're load managing right now. They're not really worried about the rest of the season. There's like 5 games left or something.
Yeah,
like 5-6 games left. So it's not like there's too much to the rest of the season. I mean, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's including tonight. So after tonight, 5 games left. They're pretty much checked out of the season. They want the playoffs to begin. They're just going to load manage, and they're not really going to, they're going to rest guys like Harden and Mitchell and Allen and Mobley and make sure guys are staying healthy for the postseason. Because again, Donovan said it was like a few weeks ago that they're just at this point, it's not really so much about the regular season. They're ready for the playoffs to begin and to do damage in the postseason. You mentioned that Jared Allen might require surgery in the offseason, which it's going to happen because of the tendonitis. It's going to get worse and worse as he plays more and more.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard it too, but I heard that James Harden is willing to sign a 2-year, 3-year deal with the Cavs.
I prefer that too.
which is excellent for the Cavs to keep him around again, to keep all these guys around, because again, this is the best chance to win. And, there might be another big addition in the offseason, aka it could be Giannis, it could be LeBron, who knows what it could be, because apparently the Cavs are still in the running for Giannis. And that they came out and said they wanted Evan Mobley. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe a Mobley Giannis swap right there could happen, which would make us a super team next year.
Yeah, it definitely would.
Yeah.
There was no doubt about that.
But yeah, the Cavs are showing signs of, end of the end of the season itis, whatever, where we just don't give a damn about the rest of the season. There's 5 games left. Just get us to the postseason already. We just want to start.
Yep.
So I'm not too worried. Again, like you said, we'll see how tonight goes with the defense and all that. But I'm assuming the Cavs aren't really too worried about what's going to happen. They just want to go out there, get these games done and over with, and get to the postseason.
Yeah, I mean that's literally where I think their heads are at. Like I just think they're ready to get to the postseason. It's a long season, man, and it's very taxing. And the Cavs have had to deal with a lot of injuries. I mean, God, we've had 34 or like 35 different starting lineups over the course of this season. So that is almost half of a season worth of different lineups, and that includes guys that aren't even on the team anymore from the previous trades that we made at the trade deadline. So again, there's been a lot of heads moving around constantly throughout this season, and it's no wonder that the Cavs are like, you know what, like it is what it is. We will get this sorted out. Let's just get through this healthy. Let's get a top 4 seed. Let's stay as healthy as we can, so that way we can, actually make our runs and do the things that we want to do here. And that's the best way that I can possibly put that. I don't really read too much else into it. I know it's a little bit frustrating as Cavs fans because we see this and we're like, oh, here we go, the same things. But we can't look at it like this because it's a slightly different unit. And I don't know, man. I think we got to stop worrying about what, Donovan's going to do or what certain guys are going to do in the offseason. Because right now, the only thing that we should be worried about is this Cavs team making another playoff run. And if you doubt on it, that's fine. That's your choice. That's, whatever. I'm just saying that I don't want to hear about it. I really don't. I don't want to hear about how you feel about James Harden in the playoffs, or I don't want to hear you complain about, oh, well, the Cavs have been playing this poorly this season in these specific scenarios. Like, dude, I don't care, because it doesn't matter right now. There's nothing that us as fans can do about it anyway, but it's just also the reality that we're faced with. And it's okay. This Cavs team is going to be fine. I think they're still going to make a pretty good run. And I don't see why this Cavs team still can't compete for a title. And if they don't, well, then that's going to be really rough. But the East is still wide open. You just got to get through really Boston. Like, that is the only team that I'm truly threatened by is Boston. Toronto's a little scrappy, but they've been very weird, especially towards the end of the season. They've just been a little flaky and like not as consistent. Obviously we know Detroit is who they are, and we know what we can do against them. So that's just another team that, again, I'm not too worried about. So I don't know. I don't know how you're really feeling about this team personally, but for me, like, man, it's just, I think we're going to be just fine. I really do.
No, I agree. I think we're going to I think we're going to be just fine as well. I'm not too worried about this team, being like, oh, we're going to be this. So I think we could compete with Boston. I think we could compete with the Knicks. I think obviously we could compete with Detroit. We are always good against Detroit, no matter how good they are. We're always good against Detroit. Yeah. So I'm not worried about them there. it's just about, can you make a run this time? And I think the Cavs are also kind of maybe playing for the fact that they don't want to play New York or Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals
Yep.
if they make it that far. So I think they're trying to play in that essentially, which I don't know that's necessarily a good thing, but also too, like, I don't mind it because I'd rather play them in the Eastern Conference Finals instead of getting blown out in the second round. But I will say though, for the last couple of years when we did play Boston or New York, we did have a lot of injuries in those games, in those matches. I mean, look at last year where half the Boston series we were missing Allen, Mitchell, Mobley was kind of in and out. We were starting Marcus Morris as a forward. So people tend to forget we were decimated with injuries last year. We were decimated with injuries Garland the year prior, and in those Knicks series. So people truly just forget like what is going on, and obviously injuries are never an excuse. But again, sometimes when it's your biggest players, it's a lot tougher. Because I mean, look at Boston when Jaylen Brown went down; they struggled hard.
Yeah, they struggled horribly.
They struggled against the Pacers. They couldn't do anything against them. They're just struggling hard. So, and then they cried injuries when that happened, but they said we couldn't cry injuries or whatever. But it's whatever. So for me, it's just for the end of the season, I'm not worried. It's just so much just focus on keeping guys healthy for the postseason and just doing what you can to make a run.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's all you really can do too. Like there's not much else that you can say. But the Cavs know
in the offseason.
Yeah. And I mean the Cavs know who they are, and they know after this, postseason run, if it ends a certain way, they know where to move or how to move. And if that means going out and getting Giannis from Mobley, and that means getting rid of him and letting him do his own thing. Like, Garland's playing well with the Clippers. That's because he has less people to take food away from his table. Like there was 4 other options on the Cavs. There's only one more option on the Clippers. Of course he's going to average more points. Of course he's going to be a lot more involved. That was a smart move only on his part, but also on our part as well, because we got a guy that can still help us now and still keep us in this little mode of being competitive with Donovan. The question is, can Donovan get over the hump? Donovan has not played that well over the last few weeks. He's been very inconsistent. I need him to lock it to FN. If he's dealing with a little bug or whatever, sit out for the last week, whatever, and then get back to it, dude, because we need 30-plus points out of you every night. You know how this works. But you have to be on your game. Even Harden, I think, has to be a little bit more aggressive. He hasn't really been as aggressive as I would like him to. And I want him and Donovan to be able to take over games when they need to, as well as still being able to keep a guy like Mobley in the game and being able to give him a chance to score 25 to 30 points. Because we didn't really even talk about this. Evan Mobley has been playing out of his mind over the last 2 months. Whether Jared Allen is in or not, he's been playing phenomenally. He's been averaging 20, 25 points. He's had a couple 30-point games this season. He is playing really, really good. So when you are able to actually bring him into the lineup and make use of him, help him stay aggressive throughout the game instead of just the first quarter, you give yourself a much better chance to win ball games. So the Cavs know what they need to do. They just need to stick to it, and that's their problem. Is sometimes Donovan can get a little loose with the way that he's just going to chuck up threes and do what Darius did, and it's just, we don't need that out of you, man. We need you in attack mode. So if he is trying to nurse anything, dude, just sit out, man. Sit out. If there really is 6 games left, we're probably going to lock up the 4th seed in the next game or 2. We should be fine. And even if you don't get the 4th seed, you're going to get the 5th seed, and it really doesn't matter anyway because you're right there. All that really matters is your home court or not for that first series. That's it.
Yeah.
And as we know last year, home court don't mean shit if you don't know how to defend it. So
that's very true. That's
very true. So the Cavs need to get their shit together, be able to practice fill out whatever you need to fill out, and let's go.
Yeah, and the starting five has been released. It is James Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen for tonight. I guess the Golden State Warriors, and this is probably the lineup I'm assuming we're going to run for the playoffs as well.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I mean, the only other lineup that makes sense has been Merrill, but I think Strus. I think Strus is the better fit, but I do like Strus being able to come off the bench and be able to just bang out 8 threes in a game. But Merrill can do that too. He just hasn't really done that as of recent. So I don't know. It just depends on what you want off the bench.
Yeah, and I think Merrill's focused on taking a step back and playing, better defensively and doing other things offensively. So
yeah.
But you know what? I like Merrill. I think he's a good guy to come off the bench. Strus, I think, should be the main starter. Dean Wade should never touch this team ever again.
He will, though.
He will, but he should never see the light of day ever again. He's probably going to be a guy who's going to get tossed in the offseason.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it, but we'll see what happens. I'm just ready for the postseason to begin because I just want to see what this team can do.
Same.
But that's all I got for.
Yeah, that's literally all I have today too. I'm just ready for the season to end and for us to get into playoff mode because listen, Cavs basketball, especially in the playoffs, is fun.
I'm definitely trying to go to a game.
Dude, that would be lit. I went to one a few years ago and it was awesome. It was the only game that we won in that next series.
I went to a couple last season.
Oh, that's sick. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us. We will see y'all next week with some more guards talk, and we'll see where everything is going on with the Cavs. And listen, man, we're getting a little bit closer to the NFL draft, so we might even do some mock drafts as well. Who knows? We'll see how we're feeling and what we're wanting to do. But in the meantime, go check us out on TikTok and YouTube. As always, we'll see y'all next week.